For Massillon Jackson, 2014 marked the first trip to the state baseball tournament in 67 years. After knocking off the defending state champs Moeller 4-2, the Polar Bears are hungry for their first ever state title. But there's another bear in the way also looking for their first championship. The North Royalton Bears got 6 solid innings and some outstanding defense from senior pitcher Frank Freight on the way to a 3-0 win over Gahanna-Lincoln. Things are about to get grisly. It's Massillon Jackson and North Royalton in the 2014 OHSAA Division I Baseball Championship. And it's next on Time Warner Cable Sports Channel. Welcome again to Huntington Park here in downtown Columbus, the home of the Columbus Clippers in the Division I state championship game. Massillon Jackson and North Royalton will meet to determine the championship. Neither of these teams have ever claimed the state title. 2 championships have already been decided. Defiance Tenora won the Division IV matchup, and Coldwater just very recently they were able to finish off their run. But as we look at what's going on here, Heath Murray, certainly Massillon Jackson with their run through the playoffs punctuated by their victory yesterday over Moeller.
Absolutely. They came out and were not intimidated by the atmosphere nor the mystique of the Moeller Crusaders and took the fight right to them early on in the first inning.
They were able to survive some problems as you look at how Massillon Jackson got here. Moeller certainly had plenty of opportunities but left plenty of runners stranded.
Yeah, 0 for 16 with runners in scoring position, but a lot of that goes to the pitching of Massillon Jackson when they made pitches when they needed to make them.
North Royalton has gotten to this point. They got a shutout victory yesterday over one of the local teams from right here in Franklin County, defeating Gahanna-Lincoln 3-0, and we saw some outstanding defense as well as North Royalton taking advantage of some early errors.
They sure did. They capitalized on some errors in the first inning again to get on the scoreboard early, made Gahanna-Lincoln play catch up, and behind the pitching of Frank Freight, Gahanna-Lincoln was unable to do anything offensively.
Well, there's certainly going to be some significant players to keep an eye on, starting with Jake Miller.
Yeah, Jake Miller had a big game yesterday, a couple hits. He's going to bat third today, and usually if something's going to happen for them offensively, he's the RBI guy they want up there.
And Brian Belak, a big game yesterday for North Royalton also.
Same thing, he had the first RBI for North Royalton, got them going, and really I think that helped build their confidence, settle their nerves down, and play good baseball the rest of the way.
Well, we've seen 2 very exciting games to date in the 2 championships that have already been determined. The Division I title to be decided here at Huntington Park. Massillon Jackson and North Royalton, the Division I championship, coming up next. Welcome back to Huntington Park and the Division I state championship game. 2 titles have already been decided today. Defiance Tenora posting a victory by the score of 4-3 over Newark Catholic, and Coldwater to beat Cincinnati Hills Christian Academy 4-2. This game today matches Massillon Jackson against North Royalton. Neither of these teams have ever won the Division I baseball championship. First 2 games have been pretty exciting, Heath. They've got a tough act to follow.
They sure do, and in fact I think the majority of the games of this tournament have been pretty exciting, and you know what we've seen so far has been the teams that generally have been able to get out ahead first have been able to hold serve and really put the pressure on their opponents.
They certainly have. Now the home team has taken the field for defense. The visitors, the Massillon Jackson Polar Bears. Here's a look at their batting order. Kyle Modis at second base, Tim Turner center fielder, Jake Miller in left, Seth Palucci the DH, Mike McCann in right field, AJ Klein the catcher, Jake Sema at third base, Brennan Dingler at first base, and Jake Pallotta will be the shortstop. North Royalton's defense, the way they're aligned, Albright in left, Strom in center, and the right fielder is Morosic. Jack Morosic will be in right field. It is not Connor Slesak. Around the infield, Tyler Pensack at third, Brian Belak at short, Nate Kogan at second, Dominic Bassini, the first baseman, Evan Willman will be behind the plate. And on the mound for North Royalton, Noah Sassi.
Yeah, you know, Sassi looks a lot like what we saw yesterday. His numbers with Frank Freight. A lot of innings, but not a lot of strikeouts. He's going to be around the strike zone and force you to put the ball in play and hit his pitches.
Big right-hander who comes in here after his team, and both teams really were able to get some very successful relief work yesterday in their respective victories. We saw from Massillon Jackson, after Sam Miller gave them 4 innings to start, Tim Turner came from center field to pitch and really helped calm things down. Meanwhile, for North Royalton, Frank Freight and Alex Sir Lewis helped close the door.
Yes.
So we're set to get the 3rd of 4 championship games today underway here at Huntington Park. An absolutely beautiful day, and those who have been in attendance have been thrilled to 2 exciting games so far. Kyle Modis to lead it off. Modis, left-handed batting second baseman. And he'll look at strike 1. Modis, a base hit in 3 at-bats and a run scored yesterday. And shoots this one the other way, and a base hit into left.
Much like what he did yesterday, leading the game off with a base hit. Get things started for the Polar Bears.
So Tim Turner will come up. Turner, we talked about his work in relief. He came into a tight spot and was really able to hold things up on the mound.
Yeah, he did a really nice job yesterday and really kept Moeller off balance.
Down a strike.
This looks like the same thing they did yesterday. Modis got on, led the game off, and Turner sacrifices him over.
Yeah, he sure did. Was 1 for 2 with an RBI, Tim Turner. There's a look at his overall statistics. Noah Sassi, big right-hander, ahead in the count, 0-1. Modis on at first with a lead. Good looking bump. Play to second. Not in time.
That was one right there. I think that was predetermined when it was bunted back to him. Sassi thought he was going to go to second, and we've seen this throughout the whole tournament. Those teams that make some mistakes early, usually it gets capitalized on, and they are putting themselves behind the 8 ball right away.
I agree with you, Keith. That looked like he had no other thought in his mind but go to second. So Jake Miller given an early opportunity for the Polar Bears. Jake Miller, 2 base hits and an RBI yesterday. Played both in left field and in center field. A healthy 390+ batting average for the right-handed hitter. But Noah Sassi immediately in trouble. And the problems continue with the 2-0 count.
Now you're getting a fastball count. Miller hit the ball hard. Even the outs he made yesterday were hard outs.
Sure were. 2 on, nobody down. 2-0 the count. 3-0 the count. Noah Sassi, a 6'1" 18-year-old senior from North Royalton. And he gets the strike when he needs it. Our umpires today for the Division I final: at first base, Tim Copsey; at second base, Mark Steckschulte; at third base, Jason Steckschulte; and Timothy Boyles is the home plate umpire. Swing and a miss.
That was a good fastball that ran in on Miller's hands. Let's see if Massillon maybe put some guys in motion here.
Sassi struck out 16 batters on the year, but he issues a walk. So the base path's full of Polar Bears right now. Seth Bellucci steps to the plate with 3 teammates on and nobody out.
You couldn't ask for a better situation for Massillon Jackson to start this game out, to really maybe even blow it open early on.
And Bellucci, a fly ball to left. Albright backing up. He's got it. Runner from third tags, is headed to the plate and will bring the first run in for the Polar Bears. Sac fly for Seth Bellucci for the first out, but he gets an RBI. And it's 1-0 Massillon Jackson. The other runner stayed at first and at second.
That's a great job by Vellucci too. Just, you don't have to get a base hit there. It's basically situational hitting and getting a ball that he could lift up in the air to the outfield and get that run home.
Mike McCann, the one-out batter, still with 2 aboard. McCann with one of the outstanding defensive plays in the game yesterday for Massillon Jackson in their win over Moeller. Caught a fly ball in shallow right field and then threw out a runner at home who was trying to tag and score. Shortstop with a play for 1, throw on, too high to get the second. That's going to bring another runner toward the plate and he'll score. 2-0 Polar Bears.
Well, Belak took his time with that ball and almost nonchalanted it and throws it wildly, and that's a huge error because for North Royalton to get out of that inning only giving up 1 run with the bases loaded and nobody out, I think they would have taken that.
Absolutely.
So he just kind of takes his time here nonchalantly and just sails on him.
So the 2 runners, Modis and Turner, have both come around to score, and the inning continues for the catcher, A.J. Klein. So we've got 2 outs, but 2 runs in. And that will be an error on that throw.
I think we're going to get an argument here that maybe the runner went into second base with his hands up in the air, or he didn't slide. But high school, you're not allowed to take the runner out or the defender out. That would be the only argument I think they could possibly make here. We'll see this again. And kind of goes up a little high. But again, if he just touches the base and throws right away, I don't think this is an issue. No, that's a clean play.
Yes, absolutely. So a put out, 6 unassisted, but an error on the shortstop Belak, and it keeps it going for Klein.
Sometimes the things, a hard hit ball like that, it happens so quickly, you actually have time to think, and that's sometimes not a good thing. Instead of having to be reactionary.
Just to react right away. A.J. Klein, 0 for 3 yesterday. A couple of strikeouts at the plate. Noah Sassi and North Royalton had given up 2 right from the get-go here. And trying to minimize the damage. Runner going, throw, got it. But the Polar Bears scratch across 2 here in the top of the first inning. Massillon Jackson a 2-0 lead. North Royalton will be coming to the plate as we get a chance to look at the Bears batting order as they try and see if they can't answer the call. But what a nice throw by the catcher Willman.
Great throw and a great tag. That throw was actually up the line a little bit, and he made a nice job to make that tag.
So North Royalton, their batting order: Garrett Strom, Nate Koken, Brian Belak, Evan Willman, Dominic Bassini, Jack Morosic, Reese Albrat, Tyler Pensack, and Frank Freight DHing. He was the starting pitcher yesterday for the Bears, but he will be swinging the bat in the designated hitter spot. Here's a look at the Massillon Jackson defense. Jake Miller in left, Tim Turner in center, Mike McCann the right fielder, Jake Sema, Jake Pallotta, Kyle Modis, and Brendan Dingler around the infield. A.J. Klein the catcher, and A.J. Klein's pitcher today, and a guy that we'll get a chance to take a look at for Massillon Jackson, Ryan Gubser.
Only 16 innings pitched, so not a lot of innings on the year, but when he has been in there, he's been pretty effective. 2.75 ERA, 20 strikeouts in 16 innings, but for a lefty, that's not too bad, and be interesting to see to be thrown out in the state championship with only 16 innings, how he handles that.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? So Ryan Gubser will be the pitcher to try and take Massillon Jackson to their first ever state championship game. North Royalton will come to the plate already down a couple of runs. 2 championships already have been decided today. The first one in Division 4 won by Defiance Tenora, 4-3, defeating Newark Catholic. Coldwater, a 4-2 win over Cincinnati Hills Christian Academy. And then later on this evening, it'll be Bloom Carroll against Jonathan Alder. 2-0. Massillon Jackson with a lead. And certainly if you're the head coach of Massillon Jackson's team and you tried to draw up a diagram how you wanted to see the day start, you couldn't ask for it to be any better right here with what Bill Gamble would hope for.
No, that worked out really well. I'm sure he would have liked to have gotten more than 2, but they'll take it just to get on the scoreboard and put the pressure on North Royalton here right away. And for Gaspar, very important for him to get through this first inning unscathed, to get his team back in there to hit and carry that 2-0 lead into the top of the second.
So Garrett Strom will be the leadoff batter for the Bears. Garrett Strom yesterday 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. Made a couple of nice plays out in center field as well. In their victory over Gahanna, shows bunt, takes a strike. Nothing. Massillon Jackson with the lead. Strom tries to go the other way, but it's in position for the right fielder McCann. One gone.
When North Royalton comes up to bat, it almost feels like we're at Jacobs Field. Somebody's got the drum going there.
It does
down the right field line.
Nate Koken, the 1-out batter. 1 hit, 1 run in 2 official trips to the plate for second baseman Nate Koken yesterday. And Ryan Gupser will bring him his first pitch to this at bat and misses. And misses again. Count, 1 out. Hits the strike.
Neither one of these pitchers look like they're going to be overpowering, but both of them look like they're going to be around the plate.
Count 2-1. Gupser brings it, and Koken fouls it. A lot of the sun here, which for most of the day was over on the first base side, it has shifted to the third base side of Huntington Park. Much wind as we saw at the very end of the previous game. 2-2. Pallotta got him. 2 down.
A nice bounce back by Gaspar after going 2-0 to get that out and give himself and his teammates 1 more out, and they get to keep the momentum up, getting up to hit.
And it'll be Brian Belak coming up to hit. Good day yesterday for Brian Belak. Couple of base hits, couple of runs driven in. Scored a run himself. 2-0. Massillon Jackson on top. And Gaspar missing with his first pitch to Belak. In the hole, but there'll be no play. So Belak on base for the first time today. Would have been a tough play heat for either one of them.
I'm not sure if, yeah, you're right. If that ball's backhanded by the shortstop here, I'm not sure he can throw Belak out. He runs pretty well.
So Belak's on with a base hit and 2 down. Evan Willman, catcher. Willman hitless in 3 at-bats yesterday against Gahanna Lincoln. Speaking of catchers, we want to point out Bailey Montoya, the young man who caught for Cincinnati Moeller yesterday, did not finish the game. And we were not made aware of this until later, but tragically, Bailey Montoya had a brother pass away earlier in the week. And we can only begin to imagine how difficult a day and a time that would have been for young Mr. Montoya.
And really for the whole Moeller squad.
Is there enough room? Nope. So 1-1 the count on Evan Willman. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning. Massillon Jackson scratches across 2 in the top of the first. And Ryan Gaspar trying to keep North Royalton off the scoreboard. Belak the lead at first base. The throw is going to come over that way. We have seen our share of pickoff attempts and even a few pickoffs.
We have seen that, and we've seen some really good catchers play as well and attempted steals.
We sure have. Willman, the catcher for North Royalton. Swings and misses, strike 2. And we've seen a lot of aggressive base running, mostly by the Division IV champion Tenora Rams. Gaspar in hope of getting one more strike to get out of the bottom of the first. And he'll still need a strike.
In this first inning, anytime Gaspar's gotten 2 strikes, he's wanted to go to that breaking ball. So that appears to be his out pitch, and that one he just left up in the strike zone a little bit. I think if he can get that thing down on the ground, it could lead to a swing and miss.
Gaspar is going to go to first again. Not much of a lead at all for Belak.
Generally in high school baseball, you get 2 outs. I'd say 70% of the time they're going to try to steal second, try to get them in scoring position.
1-2 the count. Pitch coming to Willman. Sprays this one foul, but possibly a play for not a play for McCann as he slams into the corner of that wall down by the right field bullpen.
And he hit the corner awful hard there. We saw in the first game today with Newark Catholic, their second baseman go crashing into the tarp at full speed. Right on the corner too.
Keeping his eyes on the ball and not the wall.
That can't feel real good on your ribs.
No. And if not today, it won't feel good tomorrow. 1 on 2 out, count 1-2. Ryan Gaspar to Evan Willman. And he's paying an awful lot of attention to Belak without much of a lead.
More times than not, especially in this situation, the runner at first will go first move on that lefty. So you don't even have to give a real good move. Just show them you're thinking about them.
That was almost kind of looked like a pseudo pitching.
Yeah, I think that was just a really hanging curveball there. And again, that might be Belak at first base preoccupying Gaspar's attention a little too much.
That's a tip. Deuces wild, 2-2 the count with 2 out, 1 on. Gaspar pitching, and a fly ball lifted to left field where Jake Miller has it for the 3rd out of the inning. 2-0. Massillon Jackson ahead of North Royalton. Headed to the top of the 2nd inning at Huntington Park here in the Arena District in downtown Columbus. 2-0 Massillon Jackson ahead of North Royalton. A.J. Klain, Jake Sema, and Brendan Dingler will be the first 3 to hit for the Polar Bears as they continue to work against pitcher Noah Sassi. Noah Sassi getting the start for North Royalton. Got creased for a couple of runs to start it. 6-1 record on the year. Noah Sassi, an ERA of 2.57. But dangerous with a stick in his hands, a .316 batting average. Klain looks at ball 1.
After watching Freight throw yesterday in Sassi, you can tell they're basically taught to let your defense play behind you. So they definitely try to pound the strike zone and they want the ball put into play. They don't go deep in counts to many batters.
Let their defense work behind them.
That's what they're there for.
Klain shoots this to center field, and Strom there. Wow. Jake Sema, 3rd baseman, will come to the plate. 1 run, 1 hit in 2 at-bats yesterday against Archbishop Moeller High School for Jake Sema. We talked a little yesterday Heath, this is a bigger outfield than most of these kids are used to playing.
It sure is, and they've really got to make sure they take the right angles at balls. You know, normally a lot of high school teams play shallow because if it's hit over their head, generally it's usually a home run. Well, here that's a completely different situation.
Right. 0-2 the count. SEMA in a hole. And it remains 0-2. Wasasi pitching today after Sam Miller went 4 innings yesterday. Tim Turner 3 innings. And while Massillon Jackson was able to get the victory, they worked around Moeller, leaving 10 runners stranded on base. 1-2.
And of those 10, they were 0 for 16 with runners in scoring position, as we said in the open.
Massillon Jackson, a run in the first yesterday, 2 in the 5th, and 1 in the 6th to get that 4-2 victory. They also were able to take advantage of a Moeller error. The Polar Bears banged out 9 base hits. 1-2 pitch with 1 out, sent to left field, coming on and getting by the left fielder Albright. That'll be a double for SEMA. So immediately a runner in scoring position with 1 out.
And that gets to exactly what we talked about a minute ago. I think normally, maybe during the regular season, if they're playing in their home ballpark, that may be caught because he's playing a little bit shallower.
Albright tried to come up and got caught in a little mid-decision. Brennan Dingler with 1 out comes to the plate. First baseman has a scoring opportunity for the Polar Bears. Play by the shortstop Belak. Tag made at first base by Piscini, but the runner moves on to third.
Errant throw by Belak, but nice play by Piscini. And realistically, he may have wanted to go to third base there. That was not good base running there at all by SEMA. He should have held his ground, and they could have gotten him out of third pretty simple here. You can see the field. If he just flips to third, that's an easy tag out.
Belak had his mind made up to go right to first base. Pallotta now with an opportunity with 2 down, but rips and comes up empty. Jake Pallotta, a base hit, an RBI, and a run yesterday, as well as a walk.
The umpire took a shot there.
That would be Tim Voiles. Oh, right in the shoulder.
Yep.
It looked like.
That'll be numb for a couple seconds here. I'm sure they got him on the shoulder, or maybe even the
chest.
The clavicle. I think he's going to be okay. He went to throw that ball and he thought better of it there.
Was barking at him a little bit. With a hand for Tim Voiles. This play will continue. 0-1 the count. There's Tim Copsley, Mark Steckschulte, excuse me, Tim Steckschulte. No, I'm sorry, Jason Steckschulte and Tim Voiles. Runner at third, 2 out, and the count 0-1. Noah Sassi working on shortstop Jake Pallotta. North Royalton from Cuyahoga County. Strike. And this is the first year that North Royalton had made the state semifinals. Off-speed pitch that misses.
They played a really good game yesterday against the Gahanna Lincoln team that had been here in the semifinals the year before with some experience, and they came right out of the gates. Played a great game.
Pop fly that should end the inning. Piscini has it. Side retired, runner left, 2-0. Massillon Jackson. Bottom of the second inning here at Huntington Park. in Columbus, and lots of folks enjoying the nice day here in the Arena District right now. Massillon Jackson enjoying it the most with a 2-0 lead over North Royalton. Getting 2 runs in the top of the first. Dominic Piscini, who caught that fly ball for the final out of the last half inning, will be the leadoff batter as he works against Ryan Gupser. Piscini well over 300 on the year. And he looks at his strike.
He had a base hit yesterday and actually 2 base hits yesterday, and he hit the ball hard both times.
He sure did. As a result of that, ended up with an RBI as well. Started to go, but holds up on ball 1.
3-1-4.
Ryan Gupser. Ready's a 1-1 pitch, and it's 2-1.
4-4.
Field has left a significant gap in right center for the left-handed hitter this season. And he tried to go that way, but in center field, Tim Turner's got it for the first out.
Well, the winds changed directions a little, Paul. The last game it was kind of blowing out towards right center field. Now it appears to be coming in from right center field.
It sure does. Jack Morosa, right fielder, will climb into the box. Morosic 1 base hit yesterday. 2-0 Massillon Jackson on top of North Royalton. Going the other way in left, and a base hit for Morosic.
A nice piece of hitting by Morosic to go down and get that ball and just slap it to left field.
That sounds kind of like what you hear coaches talk about. Go with the pitch.
That's right.
So Morosic, the second base runner of the day for the Bears. Reese Albright, left fielder. Looks at a high pitch, Albright. 0 for 2 yesterday, Albright. Ryan Gupser. Fly ball the runner, Morosic over at first base. Two and 0 the count.
It looks like Guspar's attention may be over at first base a little too much. He kind of took his time there and stared at the runner, and by the time he picked his target up, he was already going to the plate.
And here he goes to first. Ryan Guspar behind in the count, 2-0 to Reese Albright. And falls even further behind.
A little low on that pitch, and Guspar wanted that.
See what Morosic does to try to continue to divide his attention. Little bigger lead this time for Morosic. And Morosic, after ball 4, will go on down to second as Albright occupies first. First walk given up by Guspar. Tyler Pensack, third baseman, will step in. We saw Pensack make a big play in the field yesterday.
We sure did, and he hit the ball hard twice yesterday as well.
A couple of base hits, but that play we talked about over in foul territory, he made a grab that really kind of killed a rally for Guyana.
It sure did, and it really it seemed like from that point forward, Frank Freight pitching for North Royalton really kind of got him going.
It sure did. Because prior to that, he was looking a little frustrated.
Yeah, he was looking frustrated. He was a little frustrated with the umpires, and it was really starting to struggle a little bit, and that seemed to right the ship for him.
Tyler Pensack with an opportunity here to try and do something about a 2-run deficit. And Guspar having problems. He's going to get a visit from his coach. And this kind of goes back, Heath, to what we've been talking about, all these runners on the base paths and what they're doing. And you know, I'm sure when you were out on the mound that you had to figure out just little tricks yourself to try and keep from letting runners get the best of your men.
Well, you did, and a lot of it just has to do with you know, your training. I mean, you're taught that, you know, to vary your looks at the runners, especially with second base, and then vary the times that you deliver the ball home. You know, one time maybe do it on a 1,001 count, the next time a 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, and then maybe even don't even look at them. And what you try to do is throw their timing off where you know what you're going to do instead of letting them dictate the pace, so to speak.
Well, Gaspar in need of a strike against Pensac. And he gets one by way of a foul. 2-1 the count. With one out and a couple of runners on for North Royalton. Massillon Jackson on top. With 2 runs in the top of the first. And Miller continuing to work down to the bullpen for Massillon Jackson. 1 out, 2 still on the base paths. Koken at second, Belak at first. Dominic Bassini down a strike. Bassini a fly ball to center for the first out of the second inning. Game where North Royalton got their 1 run and trailed by 1 run for Massillon Jackson 2-1. Gaspar missing to even the count.
Lefty on lefty, this is a guy Gaspar's got to get.
205.
Of course, he's got another lefty on deck with Morosic.
And a right-hander Miller warming in the bullpen. Gaspar was ready for a 1-1 pitch, time called.
Coming in, Gaspar's only thrown 16 innings.
So his day might not be long. He's got to deliver a 1-1 pitch here, and it's now 2-1 as he misses high. And Miller stopped warming up in the bullpen.
You know, the thing is about that is you got to make sure you're just about ready or just ready, because you threw a lot of, you know, pitches yesterday, and you don't want to throw your game down there.
And that one pushed to the shortstop. Gets the second out, and the runners again have to hold their position as Pallotta collects that. Big out for Gaspar. Jack Morosic will try and see if he can't deliver a 2-out hit. Came up with a 1-out single in the second.
I have to believe this might be Gaspar's last hitter, regardless if he gets him out or not.
Sure.
If you're going to warm Miller up, he's pretty much got to use him, because I think after that you're not going to be able to.
Yeah, you don't want to, like you said, pitch the game in the bullpen and turn him up a little more by warming him up a second time.
Exactly.
504.
Koken started the inning with an infield single, a walk to Belak, and then a couple of fly balls have resulted in the 2 outs. And down a strike is Jack Morosic to Ryan Gaspar. Well, Morosic almost went after that, but it's fortunate for his sake that he did not.
Nice slow breaking ball. And from a lefty to lefty situation, when you throw that pitch, what it does too is it gets that hitter off your fastball. It makes that fastball, which he's been throwing up there about 80, probably look like 84, 85.
Outside corner strike.
You think after Morosic almost offered at that first curveball, we'd see a steady diet of those things from here on out.
1-2. Gaspar bringing it, and he gets a swinging strike. Strikeout completed. Threat averted. 2-1. Massillon Jackson. Mike McCann, the leadoff batter here in the 4th inning for Massillon Jackson, who has a 2-1 lead over North Royalton. Both of these teams appearing in the state championship game for the first time ever. And McCann holds off on an off-speed pitch from Noah Sassi. Count is 1-1. McCann reached base on an error. Now he gets hit and he'll reach base again. He reached base and first on an error that allowed the second run to score, but then was caught trying to steal. We saw in the Division IV game, back-to-back hit batsmen proved costly for Newark Catholic.
Right off the tricep.
And those hit batsmen set up a game-winning scoring opportunity for Defiance Tenor.
And that was 2 hit batsmen after the first 2 outs of the inning were made on 2 pitches.
Exactly. A.J. Klein, the catcher. Fly ball to center field to lead off the second. 2-1, Massillon Jackson on top. Missing outside again is Noah Sassi.
Massillon's threatened every inning, and here they are in the 4th doing it again. Of course, getting the 2 runs in the 1st, and then threatening with a runner in second in the 2nd, and in last inning leaving a runner on second base. So they've kept the pressure on Sassi this entire ball game.
Yes, and they have left a runner on each of the 3 previous innings. Missing again outside is Sassi. Two and 0 the count. A lot of pickoff attention going over there. We're showing scoreboard says 1-0, but the official, the umpire, has said 2-0.
He's missed outside on his first 2 pitches.
Again, divided attention. Noah Sassi getting ready for a 2-0 pitch to A.J. Klein. Now 3-0.
You have to believe Plain's going to take this pitch for sure, although we saw a couple 3-0 swings yesterday.
Every time we think that's going to happen. Yep, walk issued. Down to first base goes A.J. Klein. First 2 have reached.
The trip to the mound here to calm Sassi down and then try to figure out North Royalton what they do defensively here. Do they just play it easy and take it out, or do they put a pickoff on or a wheel play and try to get this force at third?
That's the 2nd walk that Noah Sassi has given up.
You definitely think up 1 run, and in the way these tournament games have been played, for the most part, all of them have been low scoring, other than Bloom Carroll throwing a double-digit spot up last night. Any run you can pick up here is gold.
Absolutely. Alex Sir Lewis throwing in the bullpen for North Royalton. He came in late in their game yesterday to defeat Gahanna Lincoln through 1 inning and yielded nada. Jake Seaman, the 3rd baseman, who doubled in the 2nd, comes up now with 2 ducks on the pond for the Polar Bears. 2-1, Massillon Jackson on top as this game continues in the 4th inning.
Bill Gamble's got to ask himself, okay, if I bunt here with SEMA, do I have faith that Brennan Dingler can get the job done, get those runs in?
And he shows bunt and puts it down in front of the plate. Throw will go down to 3rd, and the lead runner cut down. Nice throw by Wilmer.
And a poor bunt. We spoke earlier that with the 1st and 2nd nobody out situation, as the bunter, you want to bunt that ball as hard as you can down to 3rd base to force the 3rd baseman in to field that, to open up the bag. And that was just an easy jump up and grab it for the catcher. Easy force play at third.
Right, play right in front of him. He's able to cut down the lead runner, McCann. So Brennan Dingler to third, where it's gobbled up. Throw to second for one. Down to first, not in time. But Tyler Pensack made sure he got the first one.
He's arguing with the umpire, I think, about a slide possibly at second. The ball's hit pretty hard. But everything looked clean there.
Looked clean there.
He was safe.
At long distance to throw. Jake Pilata now the 2-out batter with runners at first and third.
And you know, if that bunts down and that play happens afterwards, in fact, I would not have been surprised if the infield wouldn't have been in. That may be a base hit.
Exactly.
Begins to show the little things, those little fundamentals add up to can win you games or lose you games.
Well, Pilata up there at the plate with 2 out. Popped out to the first baseman in his previous at-bat. Saucy missing outside. 1-1 the count. Massillon Jackson up 1 and would love to at least get another to go up 2. Saucy missing again.
Don't want to lose Pilata and have to face Modest, who's 2 for 2 with the bases loaded.
Jake Pilata ready, as is Noah Saucy. Delivers it to left for a base hit. 2-run lead. RBI.
That's tough to swallow as a coach when you give up a RBI single to the 9-hole.
Absolutely.
That ball was hit very hard as well.
So 3-1 the score. Favor Massillon Jackson. Back to the top of the order, and Kyle Modest, who we said he's been on a couple of times, has scored 1 of the 3 runs. I wonder how much longer Noah Saucy might be out on the mound.
He's been in trouble this whole time, and Alex Sir Lewis looks like he's ready to go in the bullpen. Break the peanut gallery up here behind home plate.
There have been a lot of souvenirs sprayed around here today.
There have been.
I think the very first one of the day almost got us.
It did. It was very close.
0-2 the count. 2 on, 2 out. And a 2-run lead for Massillon Jackson. And that'll be the 3rd out.
Oh,
he dropped it. Willman took his eye off it, appeared for a second. Reminiscent of what happened in the Division IV game.
That thing was right off his knuckles, and realistically right there, Wellman needs to turn all the way around and face with his shoulders facing the backstop.
0-2 still the count to Kyle Modest. Still 0-2. In that Division IV game, Newark Catholic's third baseman had a pop foul that would have ended the game.
And a pretty easy pop foul.
And could not catch it. And kept it going for Tenora, who won the state title. 0-2 the count, couple on, 2 down. Noah Saucy getting ready to deliver to Kyle Modest. Can't hit the strike zone.
That's a good 0-2 pitch, but Modest wasn't buying it.
He's a discipline.
He's really been impressive here these first 2 games we've seen him.
He sure has. 1-2 pitch forthcoming. Still 1-2. Pilata at first, Dingler at second. A run in already for Massillon Jackson. be taken by Sassi to end the inning. But a run across for the Polar Bears. Massillon Jackson 3, North Royalton 1. 3-1, Massillon Jackson, the lead over North Royalton. The Polar Bears bring a new pitcher in.
Yeah, Sam Miller, who actually was the starter yesterday and went 4 innings and gave up 4 hits, pitched a really nice beginning of the game for the Polar Bears, and they're get him out here, try to get an inning or 2 out of him, and wouldn't be surprised if the game plan is to get to Turner after that.
His first pitch to Reese Albright is ball 1. Miller got the win in that victory yesterday.
Sure did, and he comes in with a sub-1 ERA. That's getting it done.
That is impressive at any level. Spilled foul. Miller 8-0 with that winning decision. That was the first losing decision of the year for Zach Logue of Moeller.
In a complete contrast to styles, we saw Logue running it up there 89, 88 miles an hour, more of a power type of pitching, where Miller, much like the other guys we've seen, is not going to really overpower anyone. He's going to be around the plate and throw strikes.
And he threw one there that Albright swung and missed at, a strike that was maybe out of the strike zone. So 1-2 the count to left fielder Reese Albright, recipient of one of the 2 walks given up, and Albright will reach in the lineup right to the second baseman Modest.
That was a good job of hitting by Albright. He just had bad placement. You know, that was a hanging, breaking ball, and he hit it hard the other way, but fortunately for him, it was right at Modest.
So Tyler Pensack will come up, reach base on a fielder's choice. It was the second out of the inning in the second. The ball played at third base by Jake Seaman. Pensack lifts it high, and in center field, Tim Turner, second out. Pretty efficient start on the mound for Sam Miller.
And for Bill Gamble, when you bring Miller in, who did pitch 4 innings yesterday, so far so good. This is what you can ask for: 2 quick outs with a low number of pitches.
Second team All Federal League, Sam Miller. Struck out 32 coming into yesterday's game. Frank Freight looks at strike 1. Freight DHing yesterday's starting pitcher for North Royalton. He had an RBI base hit in the second to account for the 1 run for the Bears. Picked up by Sema. Across the diamond. Side retired in order. 3-1 Massillon Jackson. Welcome back to Huntington Park here in downtown Columbus in the Arena District. Paul Keels, Heath Murray here for the Division I State Championship game. 3-1 Massillon Jackson leading North Royalton, and as you can see on your television set, an absolutely beautiful day to be out taking in a ball game. And as we said yesterday, as Tim Turner leads it off, and Turner shoots this one high into left field. Albright has it blown out. If you've not had a chance to come to Huntington Park before, first off, shame on you. Secondly, you need to come down, whether it's to the OHSAA tournament or to see the Columbus Clippers. It is a beautiful facility.
Great facility and a great location. What Columbus has done over the years here with this arena district is pretty remarkable.
It sure is. Jake Miller, the 1-out batter, left fielder, looks at a strike. There was not too long ago here in downtown Columbus in the Arena District, you had a home playoff game for the Columbus Blue Jackets and a home baseball game with the Columbus Clippers. And it was tough to get around down here, but it was a nice problem to have.
Oh, I bet, and you can make a day of it. You can come down here, maybe even attend both. Great restaurants, and just have a good time. Good places to go grab a Pepsi too.
Miller with a high fly. Albright again. 2 are gone. So Seth Vellucci, who has an RBI with a sacrifice fly, will climb into the box. Of course, that Bloom Carroll Jonathan Alder championship game that follows this will have a lot of folks in attendance.
We may have close to a packed house for that one.
It wouldn't be surprising. Noah Sassi on the hill, trying to bring his team from behind. They trail 3-1. Count is 2-0. Favor the batter with 2 gone. A couple of fly balls to left field. DH Seth Vellucci. Grounded right at Belak, the shortstop, and the side retired in order. 3-1. Massillon Jackson ahead of North Royalton, the Division I championship game. Bottom of the 5th coming up here at Huntington Park. 3-1 Massillon Jackson ahead of North Royalton. Brad Klingbill, the head coach at North Royalton. His team coming in from the Northeast Ohio Conference. In need of trying to scratch across some runs to come from behind.
They're down to their final 9 outs.
Garrett Strong will lead the inning off against Sam Miller, the second pitcher of the day for Massillon Jackson, who starts off with strike 1. Strom 0 for 2. Fouled out to the catcher his last at bat. Fly ball to right field in his first. Garrett Strom holds up on a Miller pitch that goes outside. Into the count at 1-1. Sam Miller coming in relief of Ryan Gusbar. Winning pitcher in yesterday's Division I semifinal game for Massillon Jackson. Right field, backing on the ball, McCann. 1 out.
Nice play. That ball carried a little bit there.
It did.
So far, Miller's come in and has been very, very good.
Yes, he has. So Nate Kochen, the second baseman. 1 for 2 with an infield single in the 3rd.
Pretty good efficiency. 4 outs on 10 pitches.
As he brings the strike, how would you guess how much longer might he go? Well, through this inning, obviously. But
after 4 innings yesterday, you would think maybe 2, but the way he's retiring hitters in a short amount of pitches, you may try to get everything you can out, but you also got to think about his health as well.
Sure.
I mean, you don't want to put a kid in a situation where he's going to get hurt.
1-1. The count, 1 out. Nate Kochen. Now 1-2.
This is also a big part of the ball game in that 9 outs or 8 outs now to go. You're at the 2 hole, so working your way down. If you can retire these guys into the 6th and the 7th, you're moving your way down the order as well.
Miller, a sophomore right-handed pitcher. And that will find center field for a base hit for Nate Kochen, his second of the day.
One thing I can notice with Miller as opposed to yesterday, and this may be an issue because he's a little tired, is that breaking ball seems to not have quite the bite or the snap on it that he had yesterday. He's kind of rolling up to the plate. That's what that hit was on right there.
Ryan Belak, infield base hit and a walk. The 1 out batter. Kochen on at first base, being held on by Brennan Dengler. Ball 1. At the moment, virtually no wind to speak of here at Huntington Park. It's kind of been off and on during the course of this game.
Not a cloud in the sky today.
1-0 pitch. 1-1.
Right over our heads.
Here's a look at the flags as you look out into downtown Columbus.
210.
A little bit of shadow starting to creep out there behind home plate. 1-1, 1 on, 1 out. Pickoff throw.
You can see on the field as that sun starts to move more towards the west. You see the shadow, the light standard, creeping towards the mound. That'll make it harder and harder to hit.
Also kind of creeps out a little bit into shallow right field.
You're trying to pick the ball up out of the shadows into sunlight and then back into the shadows. It's tough.
The off-speed pitch that misses.
Pretty good pitch there by Miller.
2-1. Sophomore Sam Miller. Relief Despard, a senior. Runner going, but he'll have to come back.
That was a hit and run. Runner first looked back at the plate. Coach Klingbeil's trying to make something happen with, Belak. Generally, he's going to put the bat on the ball. He rarely strikes out.
Two and two. Left field base hit, so two will be on for the Bears.
Another hanging breaking ball.
Second hit of the game for Belak. He's at first, Koken at second, and Evan Willman, the catcher. He'll get an opportunity, 1 out and 2 on.
I think it'd be a good time to talk to Miller and get him calmed down, let him catch his breath here, and figure out how they want to attack Willman.
Willman twice has hit fly balls to left field. Catcher A.J. Klein talking with pitcher Sam Miller.
The way that breaking ball's kind of just spinning up there right now, I think Klein would be wise to just try to work with the fastball.
For the shortstop, Pilano on to second, a bare hand catch to get the first out. They won't get the second. Runner on now to third. And how about Pilata and Modest getting that first out?
Yeah, that actually was a nice play by Pilata there, except for I think that ball was hit so hard, Modest didn't have time to get there. And you watch this feed here, it kind of left him out to dry. He had the bare hand. That's a great play by Modest, but with that ball hit that hard, I think Pilata would have been better off to take that himself and try to turn that double play that way. That was a great barehanded play by Bandit. Jump, barehand it, and then come back down on the base.
Almost a little surprised he went ahead and threw.
Yeah.
So two are gone. Willman on at first with a fielder's choice. Belak off the bases. Koken at third. And Dominic Piscini be the 2-out hitter, looking for his first hit of the day. Miller continues working on the mound. We get another Massillon Jackson polar bear warming up in the bullpen.
Looks like Zach Meese, number 13. You almost wonder if they weren't kicking themselves
for maybe doing that earlier.
Yeah, and having him available here to face Piscini. And on deck, Marisek, two lefties in a row. Telling him to, hey, let's go, get ready quick.
1-1. 2 on and 2 out. Royalton down a couple. Massillon Jackson, Sam Miller. Coaxes a fly ball behind home plate. Is there room? Yes. A.J. Klein gets the side retired by catching a foul pop behind the plate. 3-1 Massillon Jackson over North Royalton. A.J. Klein tracks down a foul ball behind home plate to end the threat for North Royalton.
And what he does there is he does a nice job getting rid of his mask. Finds the wall, and you know that ball's going to come up and come back towards the infield. And that was a good job keeping his concentration because he was coming right up on this tall net as well.
So Dominic Piscini unable to cash in with a couple of runners out on the bases. 7 left on for North Royalton. Massillon Jackson leading 3-1. Oh, look at that ball stroked to deep left field by Mike McCann, and it's going to fall for a base hit, and it'll be a 2-bagger.
Yeah, the ball got out there deep, and I think it looked like it may leave the ballpark, and suddenly it just died.
And it looked like Albright off against Sam Miller, the second pitcher of the day for Massillon Jackson, who starts off with strike one. Strom 0 for 2. Fouled out to the catcher his last at bat. Fly ball to right field in his first. Eric Strom holds up on a Miller pitch that goes outside. Into the count at 1-1. Sam Miller coming in relief of Ryan Gaspar, winning pitcher in yesterday's Division I semifinal game for Massillon Jackson. Right field, backing on the ball, McCann. One out.
Nice play. That ball carried a little bit there.
It did.
So far, Miller's come in and has been very, very good.
Yes, he has. Nate Kochen, the second baseman. 1 for 2 with an infield single in the third.
Pretty good efficiency. 4 outs on 10 pitches.
And as he brings the strike, how would you guess how much longer might he go?
Well,
through this inning, obviously. But
after 4 innings yesterday, you would think maybe 2, but the way he's retiring hitters in a short amount of pitches, you know, you may try to get everything you can out, but you also got to think about his health as well.
Sure.
I mean, you don't want to put a kid in a situation where he's going to get hurt.
1-1. The count, 1 out. Nate Kochen. Now 1-2.
This is also a big part of the ball game in that, you know, 9 outs or 8 outs now to go. You're at the 2 hole, so working your way down. If you can retire these guys into the 6th and the 7th, you're moving your way down the order as well.
Miller, a sophomore right-handed pitcher. And that will find center field for a base hit for Nate Kochen, his second of the day.
One thing I can notice with Miller as opposed to yesterday, and this may be an issue because he's a little tired, is that breaking ball seems to not have quite the bite or the snap on it that he had yesterday. It's kind of rolling up to the plate. That's what that hit was on right there.
Ryan Belak, infield base hit and a walk. 1 out batter. Kochen on at first base, being held on by Brennan Dengler. Ball 1. At the moment, virtually no wind to speak of here at Huntington Park. It's kind of been off and on during the course of this game.
Not a cloud in the sky today.
1-0 pitch. 1-1.
Right over our heads.
Here's a look at the flags as you look out into downtown Columbus.
210.
A little bit of shadow starting to creep out there behind home plate. 1-1, 1 on, 1 out, pickoff throw.
You can see on the field as that sun starts to move more towards the west. You see the shadow, the light standard, creeping towards the mound. That'll make it harder and harder to hit.
Also kind of creeps out a little bit into shallow right field.
You're trying to pick the ball up out of the shadows into sunlight and then back into the shadows. It's tough.
Off-speed pitch that misses.
Pretty good pitch there by Miller.
2-1. Sophomore Sam Miller. Relief of Ryan Gaspar, a senior. Runner going, but he'll have to come back.
The hit and run. Runner first look back at the plate. Coach Klingbeil's trying to make something happen with, you know, Belak. Generally, he's going to put the bat on the ball. He rarely strikes out.
Two and 2. Left field base hit, so 2 will be on for the Bears.
Another hanging breaking ball.
Second hit of the game for Belak. He's at first, Kochen at second, and Evan Willman, the catcher. He'll get an opportunity, 1 out and 2 on.
I think be a good time to talk to Miller and get him calmed down, let him catch his breath here, and figure out how they want to attack Willman.
Willman twice has hit fly balls to left field. Catcher A.J. Klein talking with pitcher Sam Miller.
The way that breaking ball's kind of just spinning up there right now, I think Klein would be wise to just try to work with the fastball.
Play for the shortstop, Pilano. On to second, a barehand catch to get the first out. They won't get the second. Runner on now to third. And how about Pilata and Modest getting that first out?
Yeah, that actually was a nice play by Pilata there, except for I think that ball was hit so hard, Modest didn't have time to get there. And you watch this feed here, it kind of left him out to dry. He had the barehand. It's a great play by Modest, but with that ball hit that hard, I think Pilata would have been better off to take that himself and try to turn that double play that way. That was a great barehanded play by Bandit. Jump, barehanded, and then come back down on the base.
Almost a little surprised he went ahead and threw.
Yeah.
So two are gone. Willman on at first with a fielder's choice. Belak off the bases. Koken at third. And Dominic Piscini be the two-out hitter, looking for his first hit of the day. Miller continues working on the mound. We get another Massillon Jackson polar bear warming up in the bullpen.
Looks like Zach Meese, number 13. You almost wonder if they weren't kicking themselves
for maybe doing that earlier.
Yeah, and having him available here to face Piscini. And on deck, Marisek, two lefties in a row. Telling him to, hey, let's go, get ready quick.
1-1. 2 on and 2 out. Royalton down a couple. Massillon Jackson, Sam Miller. Coaxes a fly ball behind home plate. Is there room? Yes. A.J. Klein gets the side retired by catching a foul pop behind the plate. 3-1. Massillon Jackson over North Royalton. A.J. Klein tracks down a foul ball behind home plate to end the threat for North Royalton.
And what he does there is he does a nice job getting rid of his mask. Finds the wall, and you know that ball's going to come up and come back towards the infield. And that was a good job keeping his concentration because he was coming right up on this tall net as well.
So Dominic Piscini unable to cash in with a couple of runners out on the bases. 7 left on for North Royalton. Massillon Jackson leading 3-1. Oh, look at that ball stroked to deep left field by Mike McCann, and it's going to fall for a base hit, and it'll be a 2-bagger.
Yeah, the ball got out there deep, and I think it looked like it may leave the ballpark, and suddenly it just died.
And it looked like Albright, the last moment, got caught up with a bad step.
Yeah, you can see he breaks back on the ball. Looks like he's got a beat on it, and then just loses it.
Maybe the warning track where the grass and the track come together.
Normally, I'm guessing at the ballpark they normally play at, that's probably a home run.
Yes, you would think so. Well, we're going to see a pitching change here, as Brad Klingbeil is going to go to the bullpen. Noah Sase comes out, and Alex Sir Lewis, who had been warming up, is going to come in. Our score 3-1. Massillon Jackson ahead of North Royalton here in the 6th. We'll be back. 3-1 the score. Massillon Jackson ahead of North Royalton. Alex Sir Lewis pitching for the 2nd straight day.
Yeah, pitched really well yesterday. Closed the ball game out 1 inning. For the season, 17 2/3, 1.98 ERA. Only 11 strikeouts in 17 innings, but much like the other North Royalton pitchers we've seen, low on the walks. So going to pitch to contact and going to be around the plate.
1 inning yesterday, zeros on his pitching line. A.J. Klein will be the batter, and he goes to bunt and pops that one foul. A leadoff double by Mike McCann has set the table here for Massillon Jackson, who's up by a couple of runs and trying to get more. Alex Sir Lewis is a junior, a 17-year-old. I think you indicated Tim Turner is warming up in the Massillon Jackson bullpen.
Kind of what we thought they may do, go a couple with Miller and then Turner to try to close things out.
Alex Sir Lewis, an 0-1 pitch, now 1-1. The catcher A.J. Klein.
And they're daring Klein to bunt here. Again, third baseman's playing 5-8 feet behind the base, and second base nobody out.
Swings and misses. Klein with a big play to end the last half inning, catching a foul ball off the bat of Dominic Piscini. Almost up at the screen behind the plate. 1-2 the count. Alex Sir Lewis with a pitch, and he plunks him.
Hit him in the head.
So 2 are on. That's the second hit batsman of the pitchers of North Royalton today. Klein at first, McCann at second, and Jake Sema.
Same situation he had last at bat, where he had first and second, nobody out ahead of him, and unfortunately was not able to put a good bunt down.
No, he wasn't. And that ball pops off the catcher's mask, glove, Willman. It allows the runners to move up.
That's going to be a pass ball.
I would assume so, yes.
And does that change the situation for Mr. Sema here at the plate?
Yes. Been a rough couple of innings here for the catcher, Willman. And a dropped foul ball that was credited as an error. And now it looks like we're going to get a pinch runner at second base for Massillon Jackson, as Mitch Amon will go out and run coming off the base paths. McCann, the right fielder. Or no, excuse me, that is Sema. As they all moved up on that wild pitch.
And North Royalton is essentially going to go all for broke now at the infield end.
Sema with a foul. Excuse me, forgive me for getting all confused. Now Sema is batting. The pinch runner replaced Klein, the catcher.
In this situation, up 2 runs, I think late in the ball game with only 6 outs remaining, North Royalton's thinking we can't give it up any more runs.
Well, they're pinched in on the infield with nobody out. Off-speed pitch for a strike. 1-2 is the count.
By doing this, though, you're giving up a blue pit. You're really taking out the ability for the infielders to move. Huge strikeout.
Yes, it is. And that's the first strikeout that North Royalton's pitchers have come up with today.
So really no harm, no foul, I guess, on that pass ball. If Sema gets the bunt down, we're in the exact same situation we've been in earlier.
Right. Dingler at the plate. Looks at a pitch low. 3-1, Massillon Jackson will lead, but an opportunity to try and increase that. Dingler reached base with a fielder's choice in the 4th, grounded out to the shortstop in the 2nd. Goes the other way, and that will plunk into right field. Brings one more run in, and it'll be just 1 run and an RBI base hit by Brennan Dingler.
That was a good job of hitting by Dingler in that situation. That's what you want to do. You want to look for something middle away, something a fastball you can drive the other way, and he did it absolutely perfectly.
He certainly did.
Ball was almost hit too hard. The pinch runner Amon had to kind of hold his ground to make sure it wasn't caught, and then third base coach didn't have a chance to wave him around.
Well, Morosa got a good throw in quickly. So with 1 out, a runner in, and 2 on still, Jake Pallotta, who has an RBI this afternoon, will look for another. Alex Sir Lewis misses the strike zone on the outside. 4-1 Massillon Jackson. The state championship matchups of two schools who've never been to the state championship game. There's a strike to even things at 1-1. I've seen Jake Pilata today make some good plays out in the field. And he holds off on that pitch, and it costs him. On the pinch runner is at third base. Dingler is at first. 1 out. Count 1-2 to Jake Pilata, the shortstop. Runner at first on the move, but he'll have to come back on a foul ball.
Bill Gamble putting the runners in motion here to try to make something happen, even on a strikeout. What he's trying to do is induce that throw to second base to have Amon try to score.
1-2 the count. And that's going to bring the runner back again.
At this point in time, that's twice in a row now. They've tried to go, did Royalton with Dingler, and the old fake to third, look back at first may be a good player. Now it's been outlawed in the major league,
yes,
but still allowed in high school baseball.
Runner going, he'll be the throw down to second, not in enough time. Holding is Amon at third, so second and third is where the runners are.
He was going on first move, so if they would have put that play on there, I think they would have gotten at least a situation to get an out. They'd still have to execute a rundown.
The count 2-2 on the batter, Jake Pilata. Just 1 out. Alex Sir Lewis misses high.
By him stealing second, taking the double play out of the equation, what that does is bring the infield back in to open. Now it opens up more holes for Pilata.
It sure does. Comes up empty on that swing, Pilata. So he'll go down for the second out. Second consecutive strikeout for Alex Sir Lewis. Or second and 3 batters.
He's got, those are 2 really big strikeouts.
So Kyle Modest at the plate. Boy, what a day he's had. A couple of base hits, a run scored. Outside corner strike.
And realistically, for North Royalton, you've got to keep this at a 3-run ball game. You give up that 4th or 5th run, it may be a little too much to overcome.
Oh, high. Second baseman Kyle Modest. With runners at second and third. That one will get out of play. 4-1 Massillon Jackson with a lead.
We've seen them when they did get Matisse out today. They've thrown breaking balls down and in at his feet, and it's created problems for him jamming him.
Sends that one to center field. And there's Strom to get it. But another run in for Massillon Jackson, who leads North Royalton 4-1. 4-1 Massillon Jackson ahead of North Royalton here in the Division I championship game. We move to the bottom of the 6th inning. Each of these teams have left 7 runners on base. And while Massillon Jackson was able to get a run in, there was an opportunity to get more than that.
And both teams have squandered some opportunities for North Royalton to get themselves in this ball game, and for Massillon Jackson to blow it open.
Sam Miller remains on the mound for Massillon Jackson. And Miller pitching gets a strike to the leadoff batter, Jack Morosa, who singled and struck out. Miller in relief of Ryan Gusbar, the starter for the Polar Bears. This is outside.
Pretty good pitch there.
Sure looked like it.
And Klein wanted that one. He held that there for the umpire to get a good look at. First opinion's the only one that's going to matter.
That's
first impression.
Only one person whose thought counts. Missing high is Miller. At one point, Tim Turner was warming up. You saw down there in the bullpen.
Kind of surprised they didn't go to him right away, but I think they're going to try to get as many outs as they can with Miller and see what they got.
Nice pickup at first base by Dingler, and a nice coverage at first base by Sam Miller.
Great job by Miller to get over there, and a pretty good feed by Dingler considering his momentum was moving toward second base.
So one down.
You can tell they've practiced that since February. Pitcher's fielding practice.
We're going to get a pinch hitter for North Royalton as Brandon Walsh will come in to pinch hit. He was 0 for 1 yesterday. Walsh batting in the spot where Reese Albright was 0 for 1 with a walk. Walsh, a right-handed hitter against right-handed pitcher Sam Miller. 4-1 the score. Massillon Jackson on top. Game in the bottom of the 6th inning. Stroke to left field. Jake Miller with a catch in left field on the run toward the foul line.
Pretty good shot by Walsh, but again, that thing just hung up just enough for Miller to run under. He made a pretty long run there.
He sure did. So 2 down. Tyler Pensack will be the batter.
I've seen a couple balls today that look like they're going to fall down, but just hang up.
Jake Miller yesterday played both left and center field. Makes that outstanding play in left field for the second out of the inning. Pensack today on with a fielder's choice in the second. Hit a fly ball center for an out in his second at bat. Takes a strike. 1-1 the count. Sam Miller to Tyler Pensack. 2 strikes.
You know, Pensack, for the swings he's taken here in the semifinal game we saw yesterday and today, he certainly doesn't swing the bat like an 8-hole hitter.
No, he does not.
I think he's kind of hidden down there, knowing that he may get quite a bit of fastballs and make somebody pay the price.
He's behind 1-2 in the count. Goes the opposite way. McCann on the run. Nice catch, Mike McCann, to retire the side in order. 4-1. Massillon Jackson. They can feel it. 4-1. Massillon Jackson ahead of North Royalton. As we move into the 7th inning, Tim Turner, the leadoff hitter for the Polar Bears, who retired the Bears in order last half frame. Alex Sir Lewis with an off-speed pitch, and they're going to say no pitch.
Nope, no pitch. I think we had a ball in play.
Out of the bullpen.
Double, actually almost triple barrel action. Looks like the two guys are throwing to each other. Like they may go to either one. Like number 11, Alec Page, lefty.
Turner looks at, and I think that'll be ball 1. Since they signaled no pitch. Alex Sir Lewis to Tim Turner. Try for the shortstop, Bielak. Hurries, throws. Nice play, Brian Bielak.
Yes, it was. We've seen that play a couple times in the last 2 days where that turns out being a base hit, and Bielak did a nice job coming in to get that ball right away.
Hurried but kept himself in control. Here's Jake Miller, who made an impressive catch in left field in the bottom of the 6th inning. And he'll look at a strike from Alex Sir Lewis. Jake Miller 0 for 2 with a walk. Ground out to short, a fly ball to center. Count now 1-2. Obviously, Brad Klingbeil's got a decision to make with how long he's going to stay with Alex Sir Lewis out there. 1-2. 2-2. They say that third strike would have helped the decision to keep him out there.
Sure would have, and that was a pretty darn good pitch there.
Alex Sir Lewis with a 2-2 pitch. And the count has now run full on Jake Miller.
Sir Lewis looks like he's trying to throw a two-seam fastball and bring it back on that outside corner.
And he gets it in the outside corner, but it's chopped by Miller to shortstop. Be like another nice play. 2 down.
They're making that throwing error in the first inning. Belak's made some really nice defensive plays here.
He sure has. Brian Belak, a senior. Seth Vellucci, the 2-out batter. And Vellucci will bounce that one at the third baseman Pensack, and it eats him up.
Right into the sun.
So Vellucci will be on base. Has an RBI to his credit with a sacrifice fly in the first inning.
I think that's going to be the third error of the ball game for North Royalton.
Now we'll see a pinch runner as Vellucci will come off first base, and Nate Rierich will go out there to run for him. And with 2 outs, obviously Bill Gamble feels there's still business to be done out there with McCann coming up.
Getting up 4 is a huge deal.
McCann with a double to start a scoring 6th inning for the Polar Bears. Was hit by a pitch. Got on base in the first inning with an error, but then was thrown out trying to steal. Runner going, and he will get it. Rierich swipes the base.
Here's that situation. 2 outs, runner in scoring position. Both teams have left quite a bit of runners on base here today.
7 for the Polar Bears. And that one finds the hole on the left side. Rierich hits third. He's going to be waved home, and the throw is going to sail off target. Rierich scores the 5th run of the game on an RBI base hit by McCann.
McCann's had a heck of a game. They've not been able to get him out.
No, they have not.
That was just not a good 0-2 pitch by Alex Sir Lewis. Just can't give up a hit on an 0-2 count.
So an RBI for Mike McCann. 5-1. Massillon Jackson and A.J. Klein hoping to continue to pour it on with McCann out at second base. Held up, but it was a strike. The Polar Bears 2 runs in the first, 1 in the 4th, 1 in the 6th, and 1 in the 7th. Belak will play that behind the runner and gets the side retired, but an error opens the door for another run. North Royalton with their last chance. Massillon Jackson a 5-1 lead. Bottom of the 7th. 5-1. Massillon Jackson with a lead. North Royalton with their last chance to try and come from behind. They'll go with Ryan Gusbar, the starting pitcher, as a pinch hitter for Frank Freight. Forgive me, wrong side. Mike Jajak will be the pinch hitter. Mike Jajak pinch hitting for Frank Freight. and he pops one up into left field. Miller with a long run, 1 out.
1 pitch, 1 out.
So Mike Jajak flies out. Sam Miller still on the mound. He's done an outstanding job out of the pen.
He certainly has. He did a nice job starting the ball game yesterday, and it's not been anything special or overpowering other than he has just pounded the strike zone.
Garrett Strong 0 for 3. Strike. Couple of fly balls to right field and a pop foul to the catcher. Charging Pilata, throwing, got it. Even with a little bit of a clutch.
That was really close.
Very. We've seen Jake Pilata handle shortstop very nicely today. Polar Bears are 1 out away from a state title.
And that barely got him by, I don't even think it was a half a step, maybe a quarter step, but he was out. Good call by the umpire.
It's all up to Nate Kochen, who's been on twice with a couple of singles, one of them by the infield variety. Sam Miller pitches him high.
What about Sam Miller for just being a sophomore? Starts the state semifinal game, does fantastic, and here he is getting ready to close out the state final, coming in relief back-to-back days, going 4 innings.
He's behind in the count, 2-0 to Nate Kochen.
Must be nice to be 16 again.
3-0. All we were worried about was getting our driver's license.
That's right.
5-1. Massillon Jackson has the lead. North Royalton worried about trying to see their season come to an end with a loss in the state title game. We've seen a lot of late inning excitement here in Columbus, and a walk will put Kochen on board.
That's just a young mistake there by Miller. I think he started thinking ahead of himself and thought about what happens if he gets Kochen out instead of just making his pitches.
Third walk given up by the Massillon Jackson pitching staff. Brian Belak is due to hit.
We've seen a lot of things happen in this tournament, especially today with 2 outs and nobody on base. That's just last inning.
Just last inning. 2 outs, nobody on, and Massillon Jackson able to come up with a run. We're going to get a pinch runner for North Royalton. Connor Slezak. The run for Kochen.
And that run looms large. Now Belak would be the tying run. Now the tying run is on deck.
Missing low. Belak a couple of singles and a walk. Sam Miller gets a strike. Wow. Belak felt just like you did. 1-1 the count. 2 out, 1 on. Polar Bears are close. Right field, McCann positions himself. Massillon Jackson, state champions in Division I. First time champs. They'll take the trophy back to Stark County. 5-1 the final. Massillon Jackson. And we talked so much about teams setting the tone early. 2 runs in the top of the first got the Polar Bears off and rolling.
Absolutely, and it was 2 runs off of some mistakes from North Royalton, who normally doesn't make many, but the throwing there early on allowed the door to open up. And again, we've seen when someone gets ahead early on, it's been tough for the opponent to come back.
And how about Sam Miller coming in to pitch in relief?
Yeah, here we thought the whole time he may get an inning, maybe 2 innings, and we'd see Tim Turner come in. But when he came in the game, he was in complete control all the way down through the order, and just came in and just pumped the strike zone.
This is a team that hadn't appeared in the state semifinals since 1947. They come in here and post a big victory yesterday over Cincinnati Moeller, the two-time defending Division I champs, and hold off a North Royalton team who chipped away, but couldn't quite come up with enough.
Yeah, that was realistically for them to come in and I think pretty much shock everyone in taking Moeller down yesterday, and that just shows the confidence that they have in themselves and in their program. And if you read what Coach Gamble talked about, they talked about that all week, is getting through and taking the fight to Moeller early on, and that worked. And then the game plan today went right exactly how they drew it up, and able to capitalize on another team's mistakes. And much like yesterday, Moeller 0 for 16 with runners in scoring position against Jackson. Today, I believe 8 runners left on base for North Royalton, and they just don't give up the big hit.
No, they do not. Well, Brad Klingbeil's team came in here having lost 2 of 3 before going into the sectionals, but they come up with some big wins, especially beating Strongsville, St. Ignatius, Lakewood St. Ed's, and Sylvania Southview. But Massillon Jackson grabs their first ever state championship, the Division I title, and there you see Bill Gamble's team enjoying the moment. They'll get the trophy presentation going here, but 3 of the 4 championships have been determined, and Massillon Jackson joins Defiance, Tenora, and Coldwater as state champions today. 5-1 the final. Massillon Jackson defeats North Royalton. Both of these teams appearing in the state championship game for the first time ever. Bo Rugg, Associate Commissioner of the OHSAA, will preside over the trophy presentations for both of these teams down at the home plate area. The runner-up trophy to North Royalton, and the state championship hardware will go to Massillon Jackson. We'll take a look at some of the highlights here of how this game started, and it started with the Polar Bears getting 2 runs in the first inning. Seth Bellucci with a sacrifice fly kind of started the onslaught here. You get a look at what was going on the mound with Gutser. Fastball. North Royalton gets a run across there, what would end up being their only run of the game. And base hit after base hit coming late in the game for Massillon Jackson. There's a sacrifice fly that plated the pinch runner. And their last run coming with 2 outs and nobody on. A base hit into the hole. And 5-1 ends up being the final score. Massillon Jackson defeats North Royalton. Mike McCann positioning himself to catch the final out to bring us to 5-1. 3 errors for the Bears, and they played a factor, Heath, in this game.
They certainly did. And getting back to what the Polar Bears did, they scored 3 runs with 2 outs. And anytime you can score with 2 outs and hit when it matters, even though they did leave, I think, 6 runners left on base, that's getting it done when your backs are against the wall.
Yep, they certainly got it done when they needed to. So Massillon Jackson defeats Moeller yesterday. They defeat North Royalton today. North Royalton being presented with their medals as the runner-ups in Division I. And while that's got to be a very disappointing time, they'll look back and see what was a successful season up until today.
Well, and you think about Brad Klingbeil's been here now. This is his first season, and to get to this point, and to get a taste of what this is like, it's a great thing for the program, because the kids know the hard work that needs to be put in to take now that next step to try to win this championship.
And will hopefully set a standard for them to make a return trip.